Shit go down in the chain gang. Shit go down in the chain gang.
Hold down, man. Suitcase this, my cell phone and my charger don't walk with a limp. Get it knocked off or missing, you gon' get it. Next time I see you, you gon' leave airlifted.
What's up, everybody? You already know, man. KFROG back in the building. Y'all go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see it first. For this video here, I'm gonna be speaking on the worst day inside of confinement. All right. I did a lot of time behind that door in the box. Had some very long stretches. Had a couple stretches that weren't that long. You feel me? So many different nights and crazy stories. But for this one here, I'm going to break it down on the craziest and the worst day in confinement. But before we get into that, don't forget, if you check me out on my gaming channel, I will be giving away 2 PlayStation 5s as soon as I hit 8K subscribers. I appreciate everyone that's tuned in with me over there from the get-go. We hang out, we have fun, the chat's always a good vibe. And, you know, try to go ahead and win you or someone you know a brand new PS5. Me, the worst day I had in confinement, right? The officer came around that day, and due to a certain individual screaming at him through the door, he decided to pop cans and gas the whole quad. All right? Everyone knows them chemical agents that they spray you with, whether it's the county jail or prison. You know, them chemical agents can do damage, you know what I'm saying? And this just was one of them days that the moment I woke up, it was just some bullshit, you know what I'm saying? It just felt like today sucks. It's one of them days when you're just dwelling on being locked up. You're extra dwelling because you're in confinement, you know, because after you're back there for a while, you get used to it, you know what I'm saying? Whether you're behind that door 24/7, after a while, you're going to get used to it. Or whether you're not behind that door 24/7 and you're in an open bay dorm, you're going to get used to it, okay? But this was just one of them days. The moment we woke up, you know, they turned the lights on. They came in there screaming for breakfast. They did the trays. I knew it was going to be a long day because, first off, they didn't come around and pick the breakfast trays up from us. Okay, normally they give you the tray through the flap. You got a couple minutes to eat, then they come back by and you got to put the dish out the flap. You feel me? So here it is. It's about to be lunchtime, and they're coming around to hand out the lunch tray, and we still have our breakfast tray, like the dirty dishes just laying there. You know what I'm saying? Inside of our cell. So I knew it was gonna be some bullshit. The officers we had that day, they didn't feel like doing nothing. All right. Now, like I said, an inmate was arguing with the officer from behind the door. You know, the officers will not open them doors no matter what you tell them. You got to agree to cuff up in order for them to open the door when you're in confinement. You see what I'm saying? So they'll sell you out back and forth through the door, you know, and there's no winning. It's a lose-lose situation because they're going to just pop your flap and they're going to just gas you. You know what I'm saying? And if y'all seen my video with the chemical agents, then you already know that shit does do damage, you know. There's plenty of videos to watch if you want to know how it is to get sprayed by that shit. So this day here, the officers decided, you know what, we're gonna keep the exhaust fans on, you know, and we're just gonna gas the whole quad. And this is coming from like when I'm laying down in my bunk, you know, taking a nap, and then you hear screaming, banging on the door. You know, after a while, like I said, it's so common and shit that goes on that you're not going to jump up and look on the door at every incident or every scene you hear or anything like that, because it just becomes common. Every day people are arguing with officers. People are fighting each other. People are getting gassed. Cans are getting popped, you know, over and over again. So I wasn't thinking nothing of it, you know what I'm saying? I'm just laying on my bunk like just another bullshit-ass day in confinement. Next thing you know, officer comes around. He decides to gas the whole quad. And that shit right there just had me so pissed off because here I am laying in my bunk, ain't even did nothing wrong, minding my business, you know what I'm saying? And they decide to pop the cans to where it goes through all the exhaust and it goes in everybody's cell. So now, you know, at first I heard a couple people coughing and you can hear the sound of when they pop the cans, all that shit, but I didn't think nothing of it, you know? And then sure enough, it came in through the vents into my cell, had me in there coughing and shit, barely could breathe. All because one dude, the officer, didn't like downstairs. You see what I'm saying? So that right there made it to where it was like, it was just a bullshit day. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, they bucked us on showers that day. You know what I'm saying? Because you normally took it to the shower on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. 3 days out the week is when they, you know, make you cuff up behind your back, walk out the cell, and then they bring you to the shower. You feel me? Take a couple minute shower. They bucked us on showers that night. Not only did they buck us on showers, they bucked us on mail call, okay? Mail call is one of the things that I used to go crazy over. You know what I'm saying? Like, mail, I felt like, you know, was a priority, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't a privilege. You feel me? Like, there wasn't no restriction on our mail or nothing like that. You got to give us our mail if it's on a mail running day. You feel me? And they bucked us on that. You know, being in confinement a lot of times, you know, normally they bring the bag of mail to each dorm when shift change happens. So at like 5 o'clock, the officers that are now coming on shift, they end up walking across the compound, whether they work in confinement or work on, you know, an open bay dorm or a 2-man cell dorm, whatever it is. They're coming in at like 5 o'clock with the mailbag, you know what I'm saying? And depending on who the officer is, you know, if he feels like being a dickhead or not, you know, they're supposed to pass it out, you know, at a good timing, to where you at least got time to read it and respond and write another response letter to send it out. Well, in confinement, they were on that bullshit, you know. Sometimes them officers, you know, they'll tell you straight up, man, I got till midnight to pass this mail out. You know, so that don't even leave you no time to respond. You get what I'm saying? Because in confinement, the lights come on at like 5 o'clock. They're on all day, and then they go off at like 11. So here, y'all give us our mail in the dark. So now we're leaning on the window that's in our door, the little rectangle window. We're putting our letter on the window so the light from the day room will shine in there just so we can read it. You know, but we ain't got time to write a response letter. You know, they do bullshit like that. You feel me? Now, as far as when they're supposed to pass it out, it's supposed to be around, you know, I say 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, but they don't, you know. But on this particular day in confinement, they bucked us on mail. Like, they didn't give us the mail. Straight up. We seen the officer walk across the compound with the mail bag, so it shows we had mail. We seen him walk into the door. He went inside the officer station, and he's in the booth. You feel me? We see all this from confinement. All you got to do when you're in the box is to observe and look and see what's going on the compound, what you're missing out on. You know? Seeing people get chased with knives by each other and get wet up. See fights. See people taking officers on a chase. You see all that just from the confinement window. There's always someone watching. And so we knew there was mail. But this officer was being a dickhead that day, you know, and he was just like, oh, no mail came today. They didn't give me the mailbag. And I'm like, Sarge, you on that bullshit, bro. We seen you come in with the mailbag, bro. We seen you come in with, and he just started laughing and he kept walking. You see what I'm saying? Just to try us is what he was doing. You know, so that was already, that right there, you know, like, there was so much shit going on that day. To me, it was my worst day in confinement. Okay? Another thing. So, later on that night, right? It's nighttime, you know, like I said, they keep the lights on. The lights be on, and they're so bright that when they shut the lights off at 11 o'clock, the walls are warm. You know what I'm saying? Like, it isn't cold. We don't have AC. You know, there's not even a breeze in there. You don't have AC. Down here in the state of Florida, only private camps have AC. And there's only a handful of them out of every institution that we have down here. There's only a handful of them that are private camps. I mean, we have AC inside of, you know, visitation and stuff like that, inside of medical. But that's just for, you know, the employees that work in medical, you know, the nurses and stuff. And the VP, which is the visitation part, has AC because, you know, you got family members and stuff coming. So you're blessed when you go to visitation, you know what I'm saying? Now, when you go there, you're not used to AC because you don't have it. You're going to get tired and lazy as hell just from sitting in the AC. You're going to be getting tired after a while. You know what I'm saying? So, due to the walls being so warm from the lights, there ain't really shit you can do, especially when you're in confinement, you know? Now, what topped it off that made it so bad on this particular day, just when I felt like, okay, is the day going to end, right? They wanted to put someone in my room, right? I didn't have a cellmate at this time. The person they wanted to put in my room, you feel me? He was a chomo, all right? Which y'all know what that is. I ain't really got to break it down. And I didn't want to let him in my room. You know what I'm saying? So they're telling me on the door, oh, cuff up, or you're going to get a DR. And I'm like, man, that chomo ain't coming in my room, man. You feel me? I'm telling him straight up, he ain't coming in my room. You feel me? I'm not letting that chomo in my room. You know what I'm saying? Everyone on the compound's going to look at you differently if you allow him to come in your room. You get what I'm saying? So they won't open the cell door, though, unless you're cuffed up. You feel me? And the way prison works is whether you're the person that's trying to get in a cell and the person in there don't want to let you in, or if you're the person that's in the cell and you don't want to let the other person get in. You could be like, man, I ain't letting him in here, man, fuck that. Or you could be like, man, I ain't going in there with that clown, bro, I'm gonna beat his ass. This and that, this and that. Like, no matter what side you're on, if you agree to cuff up eventually, they'll still throw you in there with all the problems and everything that y'all just had amongst each other from the door. And then just let y'all take care of it. You know what I'm saying? But so many people were refusing. You get what I'm saying? So many people were refusing to let this person get put in their room. You know? So that caught my attention, you know? When new people come in, of course everybody jumps up and looks out the window on the door and trying to see them or whatever. And they were like, man, that's that chomo, man. That clown ain't coming in here, bro. You feel me? So they go to bring him to one dude's cell. He won't cuff up. They try to bring him to another cell down the hall. He won't cuff up. They bring him upstairs. He won't cuff up. He won't cuff up. So I guess they thought he was going to get put in my cell. They made the biggest problem about me not letting him in my cell. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not really sure why they made the biggest problem with me out of everyone. But they didn't pull that shit with all the other inmates. But all the other inmates that weren't allowing them in there were gang members. You know what I'm saying? I was the only white boy that wasn't with it. All the other people were black people. You know what I'm saying? They were black inmates that want to let them in there and shit like that. They didn't really cause that scene with them like they did with me. So when they get to my door, I'm like going through it with them, telling them, look, bro, it ain't happening. I ain't cuffing up. He ain't coming in here. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing the same shit everyone else is doing. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying in my mind. But I'm like, bitch, it ain't happening. He ain't coming in here. You know what I'm saying? Out of all like 4 or 5 people, including me, that refused to let him come in our cell, I'm the only one that got a DR. I got a DR for refusing the bunkie. You know what I'm saying? All the other people didn't get a DR. And I didn't even know I got the DR. You see what I'm saying? A couple days later, they came around, knocked on my door, woke me up. And it was the lady. She came around to tell me my new DR I got. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy. So I ended up going to DR court for that. And all they could give me was 30 days in confinement for that. But I already had like a 200 stretch. So it didn't really matter. Throw that shit on top. I don't care. You could have gave me 60. Throw that shit on there. I'm already back here hanging out. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing I could do. I'm getting transferred from this camp. You feel me? Because I already had such a long sentence back there when they first gave me the sentence. You feel me? So it was like, shit. Now, it didn't end there, though, that night. When it came to, you know, the shit not letting the dude in. But later on that night, like once the lights were finally out, all of a sudden I got real lightheaded. Shit looked all tingly and shit when I was laying there. Felt like I was going to pass out, like my blood pressure or something went up. Or something was crazy and something was wrong. And the officer took like, I'd say an hour and a half just to come around and do rounds. So when he came around to do his rounds, I was on the door and I was like, hey, Sarge, when he walked by, nighttime, everyone's sleeping, the lights are all out and everything. He stops by the door and I asked him, hey, man, I said, hey, I feel lightheaded or some shit, you feel me? I said, y'all ain't got no like medicine or nothing I could take? Because normally you can ask them for like ibuprofen or whatever it is you may need, which I don't know what it is I needed. So I just say, hey, man, I don't really feel good, you feel me? He's like, oh, I'll give you a non-aspirin when I come back by. So I'm like, what the fuck's a non-aspirin gonna do? You right? And then he was like, well, it's gonna have to do something. And he walks off. Man, that officer, check this out. That officer came in, right? And went to every cell, came around like he was coming back to my cell, and like stopped and walked the other way. Walked the other way, went back down the stairs, came back up the other side, and did the same thing he would not come by my cell door. Like he knew for a fact, like I was gonna be waiting on some type of medicine or whatever, you feel me? And really, I felt like, boy, I need to see the nurse or something, you know, but of course, medical's closed. The nurses are in there, but people, you know, get brought there and shit, but they don't have as much equipment and much things powered up and running as they would during the day, you feel me? But I don't know what it was, man. I felt like I was finna pass out in there. You know, like it was just a crazy situation, man. On top of that, I'm still coughing all damn day because I could barely breathe because they're getting gassed earlier. They didn't let us shower. You know what I'm saying? Like, they bucked us on mail. Tried to put a bunkie in my damn cell that wasn't living right. Got fucked up charges and everything, you know? So I was like, man, today just sucks, bro. You feel me? I mean, nothing violent happened. You know, but at the same time, I'm like, damn, dog, I get off my bunk because everything's all tingly and shit. I'm looking at the wall in the dark. I'm looking at the wall, and all I see is little, like, specks of, like, glitter. It looked like glitter everywhere. I look this way, it's all glitter shit. You know what I'm saying? Something was, you know, my blood pressure was high or something. You feel me? And I'm like, damn, dog, could it be from all these damn packets of top ramen seasoning? You know what I'm saying? Could it be from all these bags of shebang chips I done ate? Because, boy, I had it made when I was in confinement. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even really have to eat the shit that they give you. You know, I did just to stretch, you know, my canteen. But I had it made back there. I had big bags of canteen when I was back there. Living like fucking king, you hear me? Like top dog back there, you feel me? Had whatever I needed. So I ate what I wanted to, you know? But to me, that has to be my worst day. And the reason for it is there's so many things that happened in that one day. It felt like a week's worth of time just in that one day. Y'all know how it is when something takes so long that it feels like a month. Whether it's like your first time incarcerated. It could be your first time locked up and you're in jail. You could be in jail 5-6 days. That shit goes by so slow that you'll feel like you was in jail a whole month. That's how that night felt. That whole day in confinement, it just felt like that. You feel me? It was just one of them shitty ass days. And to me, it was the worst one. You feel me? Not as far as like the violence or fighting one of my bunkies or nothing like that. I got plenty of things like that to talk about. But on this day, it was just the worst because there were so many different things that popped up. You know what I'm saying? Banging, they turned the lights on, gave us the food. Boom. Left our trays in there all the way till lunchtime. Boom. Gassed the whole quad. Boom. Bucked us on showers. Bucked us on mail. Tried to give me a bunkie. That was a chomo. I turned him down, got a DR for it. Ended up getting 30 days added to my sentence down the line. Then at the end of the night, when the lights are out, when the shitty day's about to be over with, all of a sudden I'm lightheaded. You feel me? I don't feel right. High blood pressure problems, you know what I'm saying? And they tried to tell me, I ended up seeing the nurse about it like a week and a half later. You feel me? And they tried to give me these like water pills for high blood pressure. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just one of them days to where like, it makes you realize this shit isn't all fun and games. This is prison. Literally, that's how it felt. That day felt like I got the shit end of the stick on my whole sentence. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt like I'd come on here and I'd break it down to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Let y'all know like the type of shit that inmates go through in prison. You feel me? It isn't all gonna be fun and games. You see what I'm saying? Kfrogtv volume 1 and 2. I had a lot of good footage, laughing and hanging out. You feel me? Volume 3 also, that got banned by YouTube and they gave me a strike on my channel for it. You see what I'm saying? But all fun and games, hanging out, laughing, but you best believe it. It wasn't all fun and games. You know, there's some days in there that sucked. Some days that was like, damn, dog, I'm still in prison. You know, phones getting knocked off during shakedown, getting put into confinement constantly back and forth, back and forth. You know, on Kfrogtv Volume 1, in my footage, you'll see that I was in and out of confinement. You'll see I was in confinement at that time. That was just one box stretch right there. You feel me? And I've been to the box numerous times. You see what I'm saying? Prison ain't the place to be, man. I say this shit in a lot of videos. You feel me? But anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. You know, like I said, y'all make sure y'all go check out KFROG Gaming, man. I got that giveaway coming up pretty soon. I want to thank all my new subscribers that tuned in. I appreciate everyone that's been rocking with me. You know, I'm going to keep dropping this content. And I hope everyone's having a good 2021 so far. But anyways, man, keep them snakes and them squares and them rats out your circle. Keep your head up at everything you do. Stay 10 toes down. And until next time, this Frog.